Women come to me 40 plus, usually 42, 45. That's the sweet spot. 45-ish. Sometimes before, but 45 as a sweet spot. They are freaking done.
Love that for
they are
us. And we
exhausted.
just not get to that point.
Exactly, because no one told us that we had the right to take care of ourselves. No one told us that. No one. And we feel that we don't have the right to claim that space, which is crazy. So that is what needs to change. All of the stuff, everything we talked about today is great, but none of it will happen if we don't say, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I am taking this day off. I'm claiming this day, this time, this space for myself because I deserve it. I earned it.
I am so excited to have this conversation with Maya Hickman today. Maya and I met through a personal journey that I was going through. I went to the doctor for my normal checkup and I had to do some labs. And he came back and he said, I think I need to put you on some statin. So, as most people do, I hit Google and the return search was like, well, if you take statin, it can it can impact diabetes, it can make menopause worse. And it just seemed like for someone like me, who is one, pre-diabetic and two, postmenopausal, that was not the answer to the prayer. So I started to do some research and I said, okay, maybe it's a nutrition play. So went down that rabbit hole of looking for a nutritionist that could help me, but also knew how to help someone that was going through menopause. Hence my finding Maya and her helping me with my diet and all the things. So I'm super excited to have this conversation with her because I think a lot of women in particular may be going through a similar challenge. So with that, Maya, thank you so much for saving me.
I'm very happy to be able to help, and I'm really happy to be here today.
Why do you think a situation? Oh, and here's a bonus. I haven't had a chance to tell you this. So remember, I was going to go get that CT scan. I changed doctors after he said statin, and I was speaking with you. I went and got a new doctor, did some research to find a good doctor. And I met with her, and she said, let's just do a CT scan just as a gut check. She's like, your labs, looking at your labs, I've never seen labs like this before, but let's just do the CT. Maya came back 0 calcium. 0. Absolutely no need. So my question for you is for anyone. I mean, I did the work, do the Google and all that. Some people don't do that. What do you recommend for people? Like, how do they really just have the curiosity to question their doctors? Like, how do you develop that muscle? Because I don't think some people would have just been like, okay, I'm just going to take this, that. And I was thinking today, if I'd have taken that, it probably really would have messed me up big time.
Absolutely. I do want to add one more thing, that people don't know about statins. They can cause a lot of joint and muscular pain. And for women in menopausal and postmenopausal age, as we know, muscle and joint pain is one of the unfortunate and very, very common side effects. So going on a medication that can cause joint and muscle pain is obviously a real issue for everybody, but especially for women our age that really want to and need to stay active and strong. So just to kind of add on to the list of the side effects you were already listing, that were all correct. That is a question that I often wrestle with, the one you just asked me. And honestly, one of the main reasons that I do what I do is that I really want to have a platform and a safe space for women to answer these questions, because we don't have that, unfortunately. One of the things I often say is that women often fall through the cracks of medical establishment, and it's so true. I think all of us have been in a position to where we go to see a doctor for any issue, and we can come out with more questions than answers. They see us often as this collection of symptoms, and they give us medications for each of those symptoms. You have a headache, there is a medication. You can't sleep, there is a medication. Pain, medication. Anxiety, depression, two more medications. No one is really, I cannot say no one, that wouldn't be fair, but most providers in Western medicine, type medicine, do not dig deeper to really find out why is this person feeling this way. It is just how simply the Western medicine is, and it is a symptom management type medicine. It is not necessarily designed to dig deeper and find out the root cause of what is going on there. At this age, as you and I very well know, and I'm sure most of your listeners as well, it is really complex. Just dealing with one symptom and covering it up, quote unquote, is not going to cause or really, relieve the symptom. It's really about the wellness versus, managing disease, quote unquote. Often the times there really is no disease per se, right? There is no illness per se. It is really just the quest to figuring out how to regain that balance. And that is not an easy thing to do, but it is a very possible thing to do. So we have to then become advocates for ourselves. We have to enter those offices anticipating and knowing that most of the providers will not ask those questions, will not offer these extra labs, and just ask, okay, why? Why are you suggesting this medication? What is the reason for it? What are the side effects? What other options do I have?
Yeah.
Do
No,
your own
that's
research, right?
yeah, like you really do have to advocate for yourself. But I do want to take a quick step back because this is going to be a two-part question. How did you get into this work? Because I'm curious,
Mhm.
because you are a staunch like advocate, like you are all about like the studies and you're so up to date on it. One, and then two, when I first reached out to you in our first conversation, what came to mind when we were talking?
The first part of your question is how did I get into nutrition overall is I love nutrition. I always loved it. In my previous life, the accent can tell you I'm not from here originally. I moved to United States 20 plus years ago from Europe. But completely changed my life. I was really into journalism and writing, and I studied literature. I honestly thought that this is just going to be a hobby for me. Fast forward, I meet an American boy. I moved to the United States and get the chance to reinvent my life, which was such an amazing opportunity. Went back to school and really, really, really got into nutrition. And once you get into a good school, which I was lucky to do that, you really learn how to read studies, how to dig deeper, how to discern between misinformation and fads and real scientific data. So I got hooked really early on. And nutrition is an interesting science, and it is a science. I do want to clarify that. Nutrition is a science, a complex one because things always change. Things always change. There is so much coming out all the time. New studies, new research comes out literally every day. So if we are not interested enough, if we don't follow what's going on, if we don't read, if we're not in tune with our patients' needs, we won't be able to provide the adequate care. I follow honestly the lead on my patients a lot of the time because I do this work. I'm not sitting on my couch and just, kind of coming up with ideas. I actually talk to patients every single day, and I get a lot of questions about all kinds of things. Some of them, as you can imagine, are all kinds of myths and things that people have heard from some influencer, some quote unquote nutritionist or their personal trainer. I hear all kinds of things. So oftentimes the conversation starts with me busting the myth. Okay, well, where did you hear that from? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what is true and real and what is not. Because oftentimes, as I'm sure your listeners know, a lot of this information can be, number one, misleading, and number two, you can hear things that are completely contradicting one another. So women come to me like, I don't know what to do. Somebody help me. There's all these diets. Yeah, I don't know what's true and what's real anymore. Which medication should I take? Which supplements are good for me? Which diet works? Keto on one hand, low carb. People are just super confused. And that is why somebody like me, there are many great dietitians out there. I really want to point that out. We are the the only nutrition professionals with adequate education. So please, if you need help, do reach out to a registered dietitian nutritionist. We do go through a very, very structured, difficult training to gain our degrees. And we all have master's degrees. We all went through a year-long internships. We know what we're doing. That is who can help you kind of weed through just so much misinformation and information out there. Because everybody can create, a website. Everybody can go on social media and become, an influencer. It's easy to do. And just because somebody looks good and is able to sell a product doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about, right?
No, 100%. And two, I would say, like, for me, it was just following my gut. Like, I was
Hmm.
like, there's no way that I need to be put on this drug. So the second part, when you and I first had it,
Yes.
what did you came to your mind when we first, if you can recall, what did you
My
think?
impression of you was that you are a very healthy person, and that you just needed to make some small tweaks in your diet that are going to be beneficial. And to be perfectly honest with you, 90% of the time, that is what's going on. It is not a major thing. I have a lot of patients, a lot of women that are eating okay, but I often don't eat enough. They don't eat, and which was your case, and they don't eat enough of the right food at the right time. Timing of the meal matters. Macronutrients matter. How much protein you eat is really important. When you eat your carbs matters. It really is not about calories, honestly. Success in eating well, staying healthy, and managing your weight, and so on and so forth, doesn't matter what your health goal is. It really rarely is about numbers in calories and grams of macronutrients. It really is about trying to find that right mix of foods that work for your body.
Yeah.
And that's why, meeting a dietitian is so important because everybody is different. There's only one Rhonda. There's only one Maya. You and I don't need the same because we're two completely different people. We don't like different foods. We're different age. We have different needs. We're different size. I'm 5'9". You're petite. So obviously, our workout routines are different. You spin. I don't spin. I do yoga. You know what I mean? Our needs are going to be very different. So that's why meeting somebody like me is extremely important so that the dietitian can actually talk to you, get to know you, learn about your health history, get some labs done. Look at your blood sugar, your A1C, your cholesterol, your thyroid, figure out what's going on. Is there something underlying going on? Talk about your gut, extremely important. That is one of the first questions I ask every woman. Okay, I see your labs, I see your diagnosis, I see what you want to accomplish. Let's talk about your gut health. And to be honest with you, it is insane how many women struggle with gut health.
Well, is it
Really.
because of food? They don't know what to eat or how to eat, or they don't
Combination,
realize,
yes.
like, how important it is? Like, what do you think is driving that?
It's a combination of things. Again, it's hard to give like a one answer because every person is very, very different. So it can be many different causes, but hormonal changes often cause IBS.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
gosh, it felt like the minute I
yeah,
hit 50, like, I was
yes.
eating oatmeal every day. I could not eat oatmeal
But
any.
not anymore. Same here. Oatmeal was one of my favorite things to eat. I can eat dairy anymore. I mean, things that kind of my go-to.
Mhm.
Yogurt is something I can eat maybe once a month. But this is not a bit normal. So I really always try to normalize these kinds of things. Hey, what you're going through sucks. It's no fun. But it's not, it's normal. We all go through this together. It's the very sensitive, it's a sensitive age for everyone.
Yeah.
Transition is the hard part. You when you are producing hormones, you're fine, everything is cool, you're good. You're, in your youth, so to speak. You're fertile myrtle.
Yes.
And then there's a postmenopausal stage.
Right, right.
That's great, but that this transition lasts for 10 years. No one tells us that this transition actually lasts for at least 10 years. And that's the part that's really difficult because our hormones are all over the place,
Yes.
right? They are not like, oh, what it needs to be, or like none. No estrogen anymore, right? That's postmenopause. The transition is up and down, constantly up and down. And then we have hot flashes, mood swings, and pain, you name it, the risk cause hair loss, sinus everywhere. I mean, all of those things are happening. And one of the symptoms that heart palpitations, really weird stuff. And all the symptoms that's also extremely common that doctors will probably not bring up in most of the regular follow-ups is that our gut health suffers as well. So the
Mhm.
vast majority of women in kind of menopausal transition slash postmenopausal age will develop some type of gut issue. Now whether it's going to be constipation, diarrhea, some kind of IBS-C thing is going on, or something else, maybe extra like acid reflux or just extra sensitivity to foods. Extremely common. But say a woman comes to me and she wants to lose the weight. Just to give a very simple example, because that is very, very common, of course. We want to look good. And she thinks that her having two bowel movements per week is normal because that's normal to her, right?
That's so
How are you going
sad.
to lose the weight if your gut is literally not working? It's impossible, right?
I know a lot of women like that though. They tell me I'm like, "You supposed to be going every day."
Yeah. What is normal, just as we're on the subject, and I think that, I'm the dietitian, I tell everybody, we talk about poop. Poop talk is a dietitian talk. It's all we talk about this. This stuff is important.
But it's like legit that's so
It is
important.
very important to talk about, extremely important to talk about. And people are very, especially women, are very uncomfortable to bring this up. They're a little shy, like, hey, I ease them into it of, hey, poop talk is okay. Because it really is. And we have to talk about this.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So
What
again,
do you
extremely
recommend
common.
when someone has, like, those types of problems? Like, I know my sister, she tells me all the time, like, maybe she goes once or twice a week. I'm like, "That's not normal.
No.
Something is amiss in your diet, in the way you eat."
One to 3 times per day is normal, before I forget. 1 to 3 times every day. You don't want to strain, you don't want to have super low stool to where it feels like diarrhea, you want to have normal, regular 1 to 3 times per day. Anything less than that is constipation, we have to address it. Now, whether you have inflammation, autoimmune conditions, anything, weight, you want to lose the weight, I mean, enter condition. If we don't fix the gut, nothing is going to work because 80% of our immune system literally anatomically resides in our gut, right? So if our gut is messed up, quote unquote, for whatever reason, it is going to be extremely difficult for us to bring the body back into balance. We have to fix the gut first. That it has to start there. Now, whether it's constipation, diarrhea, any kind of other kind of IBS symptom, whether it's a dysbiosis, which is the overgrowth of bad bacteria, or yeast.
Mhm.
Yeast overgrowth in women, by the way, is literally epidemic. Epidemic in this.
Talk to me more about that.
So it makes sense when you think about it. Look at the kind of the SAD diet, Standard American diet, SAD, SAD diet. It is overloaded with sugar and carbohydrates. Overloaded. What is the kind of favorite food that you'd like for yeast? It's sugar.
Okay, so the yeast feeds off of it. Does that make you crave more of it the more they
Yes. 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 So that's one thing, right? But it has to start somewhere. And a lot of us, and I'm sure you as well, I know certainly happened to me when I was younger, put on these insane amounts of antibiotics when we were younger. You have an ear infection, antibiotics, UTI, antibiotics, sore throat, strep, antibiotics.
Mhm.
So most women, especially when they were younger, but some of us as older women with UTIs, which again super common among women, most of us went through this insane amount of antibiotics in our lives. Antibiotics, as you guys probably know, and I'm sure you're gonna know, wipe out all bacteria. They don't know. I'm just gonna kill the bad guys. They kill everything. They destroy our microbiome. A big fancy word, microbiome, right? That's so it's very it's very trendy to talk about microbiome these days. But if our microbiome, talking about the gut health, is not healthy and well balanced, it impacts everything. Everything.
I believe that.
Immune system, inflammation, joint pain, depression, anxiety. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there is a literal connection, anatomical connection between our gut and our brain through vagus nerve. There is a nerve called vagus nerve that connects your gut and your brain, literally. So it's not like, oh, but the butterflies in the stomach. It's a real thing. When you're
Mhm.
excited and you feel something in your belly, you feel it because your brain and your gut are literally connected. So if your gut is unhealthy, you have the overgrowth of I like to call them bad guys, bad bacteria, yeast, right? You cannot feel good. It is literally impossible to feel good. You're going to have fatigue, all kinds of crazy symptoms. Brain fog is a good one that you just mentioned, inflammation in muscles and joints. just feeling blah, like depression, anxiety, kind of weird GI problems, gas, abdominal
Mm,
pain, patient diarrhea, you name it. A lot of women suffer with yeast infections, but not just yeast. I mean, other bacteria can overgrow. You know, bad guys can overgrow. Yeast just happens to be very very common for these two reasons. We have all had a ton of antibiotics at some point in our lives.
mhm,
Most women have, and then of course the way we eat then keeps feeding it, right? You mess up the natural kind of balance. The bad guys keep overgrowing, the bad bacteria, the yeast keeps overgrowing, and we keep eating in such a way that keeps feeding these stuffs, bad guys. Too much sugar, alcohol, we don't move enough, we don't eat enough fiber, we don't drink enough water. And then, of course, we mess up our gut completely.
mm.
So yeah, it's a big issue that is very under I can't even say underdiagnosed because doctors don't unfortunately look at it. But let's for the sake of argument say underdiagnosed, just not looked at seriously enough.
Mhm. It's so fascinating to me how much what you put in your body from a food perspective really impacts how your body functions. What would you recommend to women? I mean, I know everyone is different, but what are some of the staples that you or as they say, table stakes that you think women really need to consume?
Yeah, that is a great question. Just want to add one more thing so I don't forget. I remember now, and it can be a sign to your listeners that there is something going on with yeast. Things like eczema, for example, are a sign of yeast overgrowth, systemic yeast overgrowth. So if you have been struggling with chronic eczema, that is a clear sign that you have a systemic yeast overgrowth that needs to be addressed. So find somebody and talk about it. But yes, honestly, I find that eating well is in some ways easier than not eating well,
I
if it
agree with
makes
you.
sense. Yeah, because you just go back to basics. You just eat whole, real food. That really is it. You don't have to be on a diet, right? You don't even have to choose a specific style of eating. Like, oh, I'm going to be on Mediterranean diet. I'm going to be a keto. I'm going to be a carnivore. I'm going to be vegan, vegetarian, what have you. Truly doesn't matter. You can be a very unhealthy vegan, or you can be a super healthy meat eater.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like the diet, quote unquote, the style is way less important than what kinds of foods you choose to put in your body. The number one thing I would say is eat real whole foods, seasonal whenever it's possible. Don't eat strawberries in January. Well, if you live in Virginia, if you're, yeah, depends on where you live, but eat the foods that grow
In the
in
right
the
season.
season. Exactly. Eat if you're a meat eater, eat clean meats whenever possible. Do like grass-fed beef, free range chicken. Clean pasture-raised eggs. Buy local meats if you can. Buy local eggs. Go to the farmers market. Buy food that's growing in your area. So that is truly the best possible kind of very general advice I can give everybody is eat real whole food that grows wherever you live, that's seasonal, and not go wrong with that.
For you because now as you were talking, I was thinking, so eating seasonal food, why is that important? I'm guessing that if you eating strawberries out of season, it's coming from
It's
somewhere and it may have gotten
it's
all
going to
kind
be
of
spray exact,
sprays and yeah.
exact. That's
Okay.
it. If you buy a tomato in January and you live in Virginia where I live, that tomato it was not grown here. Trust me on that. That came from Chile or Mexico, wherever. It was probably picked when it was green and sprayed with who knows what to ripen to what it looks like it's healthy. So, eat cabbage and broccoli, um,
Mhm.
kind of winter greens and squashes and things like that. That would be the number one reason. Yeah, if the food is not seasonal, generally speaking, it has been probably traveling for God knows how long to come to your plate. In order for it to be preserved and look and taste decent, I mean, it has to be sprayed with stuff, right? It makes sense.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, of course, what I'm saying is it is a general kind of rules. Of course, if you really want to have a tomato here and there, right? Then these are not,
Yeah.
definite
But if you
rules.
wanna eat smart, right? If you really
Yeah,
want to eat smart, like, I would imagine you could Google foods and season in your
yeah,
area and figure out, like, okay, so I have a friend that her handle is Eat Plants and Prosper. She does a lot of that. Like, she'll say what foods are in season at
yes.
the time. and it's super helpful, and I would imagine people don't think about that. And the other thing you said that really stuck with me, I am a, pescatarian, I only eat seafood, and, of course, going to Costco and the big salmons or, in the store. And I saw today, someone posted on Instagram how bad Costco salmon is. Now, mind you, I stopped buying my fish from the stores like maybe 6 or 7 months ago because
Mhm.
I started doing some research, but I happened to see that today. And it just reminded me how important it is to get
Yes,
fresh fish because the fish in the
extremely
store
important.
is very different from the fish that you get. I buy mine at the farmer's market, or I'll go to the dock to buy my seafood because
Yes.
it's not.
I think that you made a great choice, extremely important. Fish
Mhm.
can be, I mean, even if it's wild caught, you don't know where it came from. Ideally, you would buy wild caught when you can. Salmon is a good example. Oftentimes, there's color added and it's farm raised. That's just junk food. That's not healthy. So, oh, I'm eating salmon. Look at me. I'm eating a good food, but it's not. If you buy salmon in I don't know, like a grocery store that has color added and it's been farm raised, that's not good for you at all, unfortunately. So yes, we have to be kind of mindful and intentional consumers. Ask the questions, do the research, try to eat real whole food whenever possible. Now, I do say whenever possible because, of course, things are going to happen. We're going to travel. We're going to, have celebrations, vacations. That's all okay. These are some general rules to follow 90% of the time, and it's okay to deviate from the rules. It is perfectly fine. We do want to have some fun in life, and it's important to find some balance in life as well. So I do think that's really important. All foods have place in a balanced eating pattern. That's something it's really important for me to stress. So you can even have an ice cream occasionally. And that I promise it's okay. It's okay to have a little piece of chocolate here and there. It's okay to have a pizza occasionally. It really is okay. I
Moderation,
don't
right?
Yeah, there are no forbidden foods.
Yeah. Or give
None.
yourself a cheat day. I have a cheat day whenever I feel like I need to cheat. I'm like, "Okay, this is my day, and I'm just gonna be
Yeah,
stricter."
I think whatever works for you. I'm a little bit kind of the cheat day thing. I'm personally not a fan of because that can be a little bit of what you're cheating on. Like me, make it like a fun day. My day to
Right, there
enjoy
you go.
a fun day. It's my day to have fun. You know what I mean? You don't want to give it a negative connotation because it's not. You're just having
Psychological.
fun. I know because we are so strict, and we have these ideas that we have to be just so and eat just so and be so perfect. Women, when I say
Mhm.
women, we're all that way. That is a whole different discussion. The high criteria that we set for ourselves. But honestly, when you look at it, who set these criteria for us?
Men?
I didn't exactly. Men, society. Who's the society? It's men.
Yes.
I don't care. I'm happy, but I want to eat my chocolate whenever I want to eat it. It's not a cheat day. It's I'm having fun. I'm gonna have my tiramisu and have my
Yep,
whatever, my
I
drink,
love
right?
that. Thank you for correcting me. It's my fun
Yeah.
day.
It's your fun day, exactly.
And we deserve that. A question that I have for you. Why do you think so many women are ending up in a space like where I was, where we think we're doing everything right? Because I've always worked out, I've always ate, the right foods, but clearly something is amiss. Why do you think so many women are ending up in that spot?
Love that question. And well, obviously, number one, it is very different for every woman. But what I'm noticing, as I'm somebody who, as a provider or a practitioner who has been doing this for a long time and I work primarily with women, is this: women are overworked, overstressed, and
Woo!
we are just freaking done. Preach,
Say
right?
it louder. Oh my
We
god.
are just done. We're just done. All of us, have been, since we were little girls, trained to be good little girls, to
Mhm.
say yes, to be nice and polite, to never say no, to follow all the rules, to go
Brainwashed.
you know what I mean? Like little dolls, go to school, have good grades, and be the best you can possibly be, and marry a good guy, have kids, be the best possible mom. Don't forget, you gotta have a career, be really good at that, and you have to have a clean house, and you have to look amazing and be sexy and blah blah. And who can do that? This is insane.
It
This is insane.
Thank you for saying the truth because and then
It
we
is
just
such a
push
truth.
ourselves. We push ourselves.
Women come to me 40 plus, usually 42, 45 is the sweet spot, 45-ish, sometimes before, but 45 as a sweet spot. They are freaking done.
Love
Yes,
that for
they are
us. And we
exhausted.
just not get to that point.
Exactly, because no one told us that we had the right to take care of ourselves. No one told us that. No one. And we feel that we don't have the right to claim that space, which is crazy.
It's
So
very
that is what needs to change. All of the stuff, everything we talked about today is great, but none of it will happen if we don't say, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I am taking this day off. I'm claiming this day, this time, this space for myself because I deserve it. I earned it. And you don't have
please.
to earn it. You earn it just by being born and exist. You don't have to. You have the absolute right to take the space and time for yourself. Goodness gracious. And that is honestly the bottom line of all of this. Women are exhausted. All we do is take care of other people. That's all we do. We take care of our kids. We take care of our parents, our husbands, siblings, you name it. Communities, coworkers. All we do is give, 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 give. And we wonder, ooh, why am I tired, depleted, and sick?
I
What is
sick.
wrong?
Why does my stomach hurt? Why do I
Exactly.
have a headache? Why do I have bags under my eyes? Like, why? It's because we have been
Exactly.
pushed, and we don't say, "Time out.
Time
It's
out.
not me." And that's one of the reasons why I started, honestly, this podcast because I had started to hit these walls of, like, if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
probably depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the heck's going on here?" And all it was is because I was just super thin. I was not feeding myself.
Yes. Yeah. Just give, 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 and take no time to refill the cup with what you need. Everybody needs different things. By taking the time to feed your heart and your soul, with quiet time, meditation, activity for the love. You know what I mean? Women are such naturally creative beings. Talk about the sacred feminine. That is what feminine is. Feminine is open, warm, creative, playful. And we are not allowed in this world as it is to be that way
We gotta change that.
unless we say, I'm doing it. I'm taking this space. I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm doing this because I have to. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times, this is the conversation I have to have with my patients. A lot
Mhm,
of the times.
mhm.
Just literally give them kind of be very transparent and tell them you have to take care of yourself. You deserve to take care of yourself. Something's gotta give. Your husband can take care of the kids once a week. It's
That is
okay.
that's so
Go
funny.
it's insane, right? But it's just how we are wired. Go call your girlfriend. I haven't seen my friend in a month. Why? Go for a walk, woman. Go lock yourself in the bedroom and just turn the lights off. Lay there. Listen to the music. Do whatever you need to do. Play music, paint, dance. Right? These things are essential to our existence. Truly, that is the essence of femininity, and we are not being that. So of course you're miserable. How can you possibly be happy? You're denying your true nature, who are you born to be.
Well, you came on here dropping some serious knowledge. We've talked about food, like, being just like and I just saddens me to think that women don't feel or believe that they have that right to live. Like when I was young, my mom used to, and this is going to hypocrisy at its best. My mom used to say to me all the time, if I ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. But at the same token, she worked herself to the bone. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I appreciated what she said and I understood it. And at first, when she used to say it to me, I was a kid, I was like, well, that's kind of selfish. At this age, I get it. But it also saddens me that she said that, but she didn't actualize it.
Yeah, but that's what really matters, because it doesn't matter what she was saying. You're watching her do
Yeah, it
what she
didn't
was
make
doing.
sense.
Yeah, that's what we pick up on. We pick up on what our parents do, not what they say.
Exactly. And I think that's exactly what I did. Like, I was a go
Yeah,
person, like 2, 3 jobs, just run yourself to the ground, and
yeah, no, same here.
it's sad. And I would love to see women spend more time loving on themselves. I was
Hmm.
thinking today, I was doing a meditation, and it said the theme was, "What would life be like if you loved yourself?"
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Was like that part. What would it be like? Probably healthier, less stress, less anxiety. You
You
can
will
live
spend time doing things make you happy more, right?
exactly.
Is what we all need to do.
Step into and I've come to realize that life is less about growing, it's more about becoming who you were always meant to be.
Exactly.
As you we just somehow we step away from that. So I love that, everything that you've shared here. So one of the things that you shared with me and that I will never forget during one of my sessions was the body keeps the score. Body keeps the score. Talk to me about that and what you have learned from that.
Yeah. This actually really ties really well into what we just talked about, right? We don't take the time to care ourselves. We are overwhelmed with whatever we are thrown into family, history, environment. We don't choose off,
Right.
right? We don't choose where we're born. We don't choose our parents. We don't choose the environment in which we're born into. All of these things impact our our minds and our bodies in a very deep, meaningful way. In other words, I'm sure a lot of people heard of the book Bodies Keeps the
Yeah.
Score. Body really keeps the score. In my case, even though I have always been just like Rhonda, very healthy. I've exercised my entire life. I've always been a very healthy weight. Dietitian, wellness coach, yoga instructor, Pilates instructor. You know what I mean? Like I've done it all. Wellness coach. I developed breast cancer last year, which was a shock, a complete shock. Interestingly enough, I never really asked why. Like, why did this happen to me? Why me? Why not me? Right? But literally the first words that came out of my mouth were, "How did this happen?" It was such a shock. What did I do? What did
Right.
I do wrong? What did I miss? How is it possible this happens to me? It is possible because again, it keeps the score. I was born in Serbia. I went through two wars, very dysfunctional family dynamics, pushed through all of that to survive,
Mhm.
right? Came here, started a family, went back to school. It was just one thing after another, one thing after another. Never really gave my body and my mind,
Mhm.
even though I've been through therapy for 20 plus years. Don't get me wrong. Like I've been dealing with all of this and otherwise I'm not going to be able to function at all. But I don't think that some of these things were dealt with deep enough, or to be honest, I don't think it was even possible. There are times that I think that cancer was the only way that this trauma was able to manifest. I don't know if it makes sense. Like there was no other way this was gonna come out. It
Right.
had to somehow come out of me.
Mhm.
It had to just get out of my body. It had to get somewhere. And that's where I decided to go. So what helped me is after initial shock and figuring out a treatment and all the things is this type of work, really understanding how it happened, not why, but how. That was really important to me. I needed to make some sense of it. And I wanting that to be the message that my body was giving me. I didn't want this suffering that I went through to be for nothing. I wanted it to be a lesson, but more than a lesson, I wanted it to be meaningful.
Mhm.
Like, oh, okay, this happened to me. What now? It cannot be, I cannot live the same as I lived before. It's impossible. And I don't mean by my lifestyle. My lifestyle was fine before, clearly did not make any difference.
Right.
So what needs to change? And it is what we just talked about. It is this reclaiming this, and I love this term that I just learned from one of my teachers. It's called soft power. That's the feminine power.
You said soft.
Soft power, reclaiming my soft power, really learning how to be in this world from that space, because power is not angry, bitter. That's masculine, we don't, that's not us. Power is like really kind of in your belly, in your body, feeling grounded, feeling real, authentic, like really standing on the brink of that river, watching the life unfold without allowing it to bring you down. And that is a practice. That's not an easy thing to do,
Right.
right? But really trying to be embodied, to be real, to feel powerful but soft at the same time is what I'm learning every day to do.
I love that.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. So how has your diagnosis changed, like, any of your eating habits or anything like that? Any changes that you noticed, anything that the doctors told you that maybe you didn't agree with because of what you do, by the nature of what
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, no." Imma go check
I
that.
think you should ask that. As you can imagine, oncologists have no clue, or they don't even mention that. They have no idea. They're completely clueless, and I'll be bold enough to say ignorant when it comes to
Mhm.
nutrition and lifestyle.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. They really don't, which is horrible. Which
I
is
was
just absolutely
gonna say,
horrible.
how is that possible that when you study
Yeah.
medicine, you don't get the full picture?
No, they send you come there, eat whatever you want. Just go home, eat whatever you want to eat. Thank God I knew better and I know better, and I was never eating whatever I want to eat anyway, right? So, but my concern was hearing that. My God, what if they say as they do to other people, to someone who,
Doesn't know.
doesn't know anything about nutrition, maybe is not very well educated, doesn't really know how to read all this stuff online and figure out what's real, what's not real. You know what I mean? Like that's what scares me, truly. They send them home and tell them, eat whatever you want to do. What if this person is living off of, Diet Coke and McDonald's, like our president? What then?
Mm,
It is a little scary. It really, really is. So I did not change much because I've always been eating really well. What initially happened to me after the diagnosis, or before the surgeries and all of that, is that I was just in this state of shock that lasted for about 2 months.
no.
And I was afraid to make a choice, if it makes sense. I stopped trusting my intuition because I felt like, well, I did everything right and here I am. So clearly I don't know what I'm doing. So it
Mhm,
took me a while to kind of reclaim that power and to start trusting my gut, to start trusting my choices again. That was a really difficult period for me. Those 2-3 months from I was diagnosed in like late May, June, and my surgery was in August, September, October, like multiple surgeries to go into all that mess. But it took me up until that time. So from maybe, June to October
mhm,
to November, maybe to like really digest what has happened to me, to digest all the information that I've heard, that I've read, all that I've learned, and to make my choices that make sense to me.
mhm.
And that brings me back to what we started today. Eat real food. Eat real food. It's okay. There is no one diet that's right for cancer. It really isn't. There are different camps. Oh, you have to have, plant-based, just plants. That's one camp. There's another camp. Oh no, you can't eat that way because that's gonna be high in glucose. You have to eat a keto style diet.
Mhm,
None of those are true, and both of them are true. That makes sense. Because you can't when you choose an extreme point of view on anything, you can always find data and evidence to support your view.
yeah,
It's easy.
agreed.
You choose a view first, and then you find the information to support your view, which is what these people do. And that's ridiculous. That's not science. That's not science. What makes sense is, like I said, eat real food. My diet now is clean in the sense that I don't eat junk, never eat junk. I'm
Mhm,
very mindful to eat good quality protein. I'm going to, I eat venison and I will eat like, pasture-raised eggs, and I will eat some like goat kefir, and that's my protein primarily. I don't just eat really clean food. Some chicken, but nice organic chicken breast. I don't really eat many starches at all. Primarily lots of vegetables, fruit. Everything's organic, clean, local, and during season. Happy
mhm.
this warm weather is coming, so I can't wait for farmers markets to be in the full bloom. And I
Yes.
buy pretty much everything at farmers markets, once they're available. We have really good meats here as well because I live in the mountains, so I can buy everything locally. I can buy duck meat from like down the road, duck eggs. I can buy like, really yummy food, that's just here, literally all made, grown right here in town. So that's how I live. I try to like eat like local as much as possible, like really whole, real foods, lean meats, lots of fruits and vegetables, some healthy fats. And I take a ton of supplements that are designed for what I'm going through
What are
or
some
have
of the
been.
supplements that you take?
Take so many, goodness gracious. I take something called DIM, which helps like recycle estrogen. That's specifically for cancer. I take liposomal vitamin C. I take, my gosh, I take so many. I take a lot of like liver and detox support supplements. I take NAC. I take so many. I probably take 20 different supplements. I take a lot.
That's all.
I take a lot, but I designed like a really good program for myself initially. I read some good books, did some good research, and then obviously have some of my own knowledge, and I made my own plan. Then I met with a really amazing naturopath, actually from California, whom I really liked because I needed a second opinion. I needed someone to calm me down because, again, I lost trust in myself. And that was really, really reassuring and encouraging because she pretty much, reassured me that what I was doing was right. That's okay. It's okay to eat meat. It's okay to, it's more than okay. You actually need it. She helped me make some small adjustments in my supplement regimen. Yeah, but I'm really I feel good and I feel good about my choices. I think that's the most important thing. I stop doubting myself.
Love that you said that now you're trusting yourself again. I think that that's a problem with a lot of women.
Yes.
Just don't trust your intuition, and the fact that you were blaming yourself for your cancer diagnosis, I'm glad to see that you're on the other side of that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it took a few months to get there. Of course it did.
I remember one time you and I, when you first told me you had it was during one of our sessions,
Yeah.
I could just hear, like, the heaviness in your voice during our conversation, and I remember thinking, "Wow, that's heavy." Like, she does everything right.
Yeah.
Like, food, you exercise, you help people, just amazing disposition, like, and that's when you were telling me about the whole body keeps the score
Body
thing.
keeps a score. Absolutely. I will tell you that I have a lot of patients that come to me in a similar kind of predicament in a way that they are making the right choices and stuff is still happening. And it can be um it's just so hard to be in that place. It's so hard. I mean, you are actually in some way an example of that. Like, why do you have some of those numbers? Make no sense. Like, why? Why?
Body keeps the score. I mean,
Because
I got
exactly,
trauma from
exactly,
my childhood. Like, there was a lot of stuff that went on in my childhood that
exactly.
probably even carried through to my adult.
Goodness. No,
uh,
nothing. Don't
yeah,
it's all there.
yeah.
It's all
It
there.
can manifest in different ways, like, it could be
Exactly.
outwardly or inside. Like, when I'm stressed out, people will never even know because 'cause I'm still the same, but on the inside,
But that's not good, right?
yeah,
That
so now
that's
I've
not
gotten to a point where, I work out all the time anyways, but I'll take my stress out on the spin bike.
yes. Or
If
punch
I
the pillow and go yell and scream in the car.
well, I brought a sound bowl, right? So if I really feel a certain way, I'll pull it out and I'll just play to
Yes.
get my frequency and my vibration. And that's the other thing I realized that if I can just elevate my vibration whenever I feel low, that is super helpful in my life.
Yeah. And there are many ways to do that.
Mhm,
Where, some of these examples that you mentioned are wonderful. There are many other ways to do that. I really like binaural beats.
mhm.
Which you've heard of binaural beats. It's a really neat way to literally recenter yourself. I certainly use it a lot. When I was in the hospital, I was constantly, I mean, it was on my head like nonstop, 24/7 to just kind of keep me where I
Mhm.
needed to be calm and centered. And there are many other ways, of course, music, it can be just being in the nature, meditation. Anything that brings you love and happiness can recenter you and bring you back where you need to be.
Yes, absolutely. Well, wow, this has been amazing. I feel like we gotta do a part 2.
Right. I know.
But, you have to share, like, all the ways that people can connect with you. I'm sure there's gonna be questions, and people probably wanna reach out. If you have, like, any social, website, all the stuff, please share.
Yeah, so probably the easiest way is to go on my website, foodcurenutrition.com. So it's foodcurenutrition.com. You can read up a little bit more about me, and there is a link there which you can use to schedule a visit if you want to. But and my phone number, my email, everything is on the website.
Nice. One last question that I always ask people that come on to my show, um, and it's all about self-care. If you had to make a law about self-care that everyone had to follow, what would it be and why?
That's hard to choose one.
I had someone tell me I have 3, so go for it.
Okay, I'm going to make it really simple.
Okay.
And because I feel that's what I talked about previously and very passionately is take time for yourself.
Mhm.
Just take time for yourself. It doesn't matter what that time, whatever you need to do with the time, just carve a time every single day, even if it's 10, 15 minutes to do something for yourself. That is, I feel, the best possible law or advice I can give.
I love that. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And, I feel like we got more to talk about, but we'll figure that out. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for
It was a
coming on
pleasure.
this show, and thanks for being such a great resource for me and my journey in getting my diet right as I navigate, all the things for with menopause and et cetera. So I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your gift, and thanks so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. What stayed with me after this conversation wasn't a specific food or supplement or wellness routine. It was the reminder that so many of us have learned to treat our bodies like machines. We push them, we override them, we learn how to function through stress, grief, anxiety, exhaustion, and everything that life puts on our shoulders while still appearing completely fine to everybody watching us. And then one day, the body says, pump your brakes. Sometimes it's whispers, maybe your sleep changes, maybe foods you've always eaten suddenly don't agree with you. Maybe you feel tired or anxious or disconnected or just simply not yourself. And sometimes the body, it can get loud. Maya said something in this conversation that I keep coming back to. So many of us have been taught how to give, but we were never taught we have the right to take care of ourselves. Not after work is finished, not when everyone is okay, not once we've proven that we deserve it, but right the hell now. And maybe caring for yourself doesn't begin with a perfect routine. Maybe it begins with just asking yourself a better question. What do I need? Not what does everybody expect from me? Not what would make me more productive? Not what would make me easier to deal with? But what do I need? The answer may change from day to day because it might be nourishing food. It might be that 10 minutes Maya talked about. And maybe it's movement. Maybe it's music, laughter, a second medical opinion, a conversation with a friend, someone that you trust. It's just that permission to just be. Your body isn't betraying you by having needs. It may be trying to bring you back home to yourself. Thank you, Maya, for bringing your knowledge, your honesty, your vulnerability, your lived experience into this conversation. You can learn more about Maya and her work at foodcurenutrition.com. Her information will be linked below in the show notes. Before you move on with your day or night, sit with this question. Where in my life am I waiting for permission to take care of myself, and what might change if I stopped waiting? When you have a quiet moment, write about one need your body, mind, and spirit has been communicating to you that you've been ignoring, minimizing, or postponing. And then finish this sentence. This week, I will honor myself by. And don't rush the answer, and let it be honest. Let it be simple, and it doesn't have to be overly dramatic as far as a life change. Maybe it's just those 10 minutes. Maybe it's asking for some help. Maybe it's making that appointment you've been putting off. Maybe it's setting a boundary, taking a walk, or just choosing to rest without having to explain yourself. For me, it is shutting down and being present. So, whatever came up for you, hold it and hold it gently. Because hearing what you need is one thing, believing you're worthy of receiving it, that's deeper. All right, let's ground this today. Place your hand over your heart if that feels good to you. Take a slow breath in and let it go. I don't have to earn rest, care, or nourishment. My needs are worthy of my attention. I trust myself enough to listen. I give myself permission to take up space in my own life. Do me a solid and turn on those notifications and subscribe to Hold My Purse so you don't miss the conversations we have coming up next. And if this episode made you think of a woman who's been carrying too much for too long, share it with her. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is remind another woman that she doesn't have to carry everything alone. Keep the conversation going. Share your biggest takeaway from this episode. Tag Hold My Purse. And remember to check the show notes for this week's Rowism, guest information, resources, and sign up for the newsletter Purse Check. All right. Until next time, my fabulous friends, stay aligned, stay unbothered, and hold your own damn purse. Peace.
This episode is brought to you by Self Care Shawty, your go to for homemade skin products that keep you moisturized, healed, and at ease. Discover these amazing products today at selfcareshawty.etsy.com. That's self-care shawty, SHAWTY.etsy.com.
The information shared in this episode is provided for general educational and informational purposes only. This conversation reflects the professional perspectives, opinions, and personal experiences of the host and the guest. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition, and it should not be considered a substitute for individualized medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional regarding your personal health. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional regarding your personal health needs and before making changes to medications, supplements, nutrition, exercise, or treatment. Never disregard or delay professional medical advice because of something you heard in this episode.